Welcome to SimpleTech. Today, I'm going to walk you through version 0 of SimpleTech Booking. The app is currently stored at simpletech.glide.page. You can get there on a web browser. Look for this screen with the SimpleTech name on it and just log in with Google to get instant access. This is actually a web app, which means you can use it not just on your phone, but also on a desktop or laptop as well. If you have a partner or someone who handles billing and reservations for you, you can both log in at the same time to the same account by using the same email address to log in and then work together. Once you're in, it's a good idea to add it to your home screen. On Android, tap the 3 dots in the top right corner. On iPhone, find the square with the arrow icon. Select Add to Home Screen, choose Install as an app, and now you can access it just like any other app on your phone. Now that that's done, let's go through the system setup. You'll need at least one customer profile and at least one vehicle to use the software. That's it. Everything else just makes the system more powerful for you, but it's not going to stop you if you don't have it. So let's start by adding a customer. Click on the Customer tab at the bottom and then Add a Customer button at the top. Add their name, phone number, and that's really all you need. But if you have an email too, it gets better. So let's go ahead and add that. And if you have a home address and an office address, it gets even better from there. So let's add those too. I'm going to ignore the last line for just a second, and let's save it. Now let's go to the booking form. At the top of the page, there's 2 buttons, Make a Booking and Quick Entry. These are at the top of almost every page. Click on Make a Booking, enter the customer you just created, and go down to the pickup address and drop-off address fields. You'll notice these 8 buttons. Click on the home icon and the customer's home address fills in right away. This is being pulled directly from the customer's profile that you just created, and it's unique to every customer you enter. So if you put a different customer at the top, there will be a different home address representing that specific customer. Press the office icon and the same happens, but with the office address. Let's go back to the drop-down menu, and this time select Vehicle Categories. Select the Add a Vehicle button at the top, and enter the name of the vehicle. Enter the capacity. Now I drive an SUV, so I've entered SUV with 6 passenger capacity, and that's really all I need. This early release of SimpleTech doesn't yet include calculations of distance-based pricing. It will soon, but it doesn't yet. So if you want to leave the pricing fields blank, you absolutely can. Go ahead and save that, and let's go back to the booking form. Scroll down to the bottom, and now you see there's your vehicle. Now let's go to the menu again, and this time go all the way down to the bottom and click on your email address. This is your profile settings. Now that your system is minimally set up, we're going to make it even better and more powerful. In your profile, you'll want to set up your default business addresses. Start with the 2 airports that you take people to and from most often. I'll add DFW and Dallas Love Field. Now go back to the booking form. Find your pickup and drop-off address fields, and notice that the airports now link with these addresses. So anytime you book someone to or from an airport, you don't have to type the address. You don't even have to pull up your phone's keyboard. It's one tap, and the address is filled in. This saves you a tremendous amount of time, especially if you do a lot of airport runs. Now go back to the menu. Go back to your profile, and we're going to enter 4 local hotspots you visit most often. I'm going to add Globe Life Field, where the Texas Rangers play, Cowboy Stadium. I'll put in the Stockyards and downtown Fort Worth. You can change these anytime as your business develops and as you figure out what your busiest addresses are. Now go back to the booking form, go to the pickup and drop-off addresses, and notice that the next row of buttons are now filled in with these addresses. So out of the 8 buttons, 2 of them draw from your customer's account and are specific to each client, and 6 of them pull from your business directly, representing the places that you and your customers go to most often. This saves you from having to type them over and over again with the most common destinations. Now again, this is an early release. These fields aren't connected to Google Maps yet, so just type something you'd recognize in a reservation. It doesn't have to be the exact address. Now go back to the menu, select your profile. Next, we're going to pick 2 icons to add. One icon is going to represent your reservations, and one is going to represent entries for spontaneous ride requests and other non-reservation charges, like when you need to charge for a reimbursement. I've added a calendar icon for my bookings and a check mark for quick entries, but you can customize these for yourself. If you work with your clients through email, you can also create a confirmation email template with a subject, a body, and a disclaimer like I've done here. Now your system is ready to work hard for you. You have your settings, you have a vehicle, and you have a client. In just about 5 minutes, you're ready to go from scratch. Let's make a booking. Suppose my customer texts me and says, "Can you pick me up at DFW Airport and take me to my home tomorrow?" I arrive on American Airlines 1243 around 8 p.m. After responding to him and saying, "Yeah, I can do it," I'm just going to copy that text message. I'm going to open the booking form and paste it right into the notes box for reference. Then, watch how fast this is. I'm going to select the customer, choose tomorrow at 8 p.m., choose DFW Airport, or tap the shortcut that I created, choose their home address using the home icon, select vehicle and trip type, set a price, and finish. A new booking has been created in about 15 seconds without having to look anything up, without having to go find an address, and without making a mistake. Now let's see what the booking looks like. Go to upcoming trips in the lower left corner, which is my working schedule, and open it up. When I tap on it, I see this wonderfully detailed reservation created from that 15 seconds on the booking form by pulling all of the information from every part of my system and concentrating it into one area. And from this page, I can call, text, or email my client. I have a record of their text that they sent me earlier. I can navigate to pick up or drop off addresses with one tap. I can see all the details. I can update the payment status. And lastly, I can copy the trip details with one tap and text it to my client using the SMS button. Or if they prefer, I can email it. Email opens my pre-filled template in my email, and I just paste the trip into it and hit send. Whether through text or email, sending a confirmation is one of the best habits you can have as a service professional to build a positive reputation with your clients in their communities. It gives your customers a chance to confirm details with their own eyes, allowing them to make sure you heard them correctly and that you wrote it down correctly, and this gives them a tremendous amount of peace of mind. Now suppose I'm already booked and I need to give this trip to another driver. Scroll down in the same trip details page to get to the driver section. You'll notice it's blank right now because I'm the driver. This is my account, so obviously I'm going to drive my own customer. But when I try to select a different driver, I see that I don't have any drivers to choose from. So I need to go to the Drivers tab at the bottom and then click Add a New Driver. I need to fill in the name, mark them as a contractor since they don't work for my company directly, fill in the email, phone, city and state that they operate in, the airports they serve, and then select the vehicles that this person drives. Now this person has an SUV like I do, but he also has a stretch limo, and I want to make sure that I remember that he has a stretch limo. So I need to go back to the menu, select Add a Vehicle, call it a stretch limo, 10 passengers, and save. Then I can return to my driver form from the drop-down menu by selecting Add a Driver, and I'm back on the form. Now, before I continue, I want you to notice that this driver form still has all of my progress. This is not by accident, and this is actually a very important feature. This distinguishes my software from Limo software and even from Google Calendars. None of these entry forms, not the booking form, quick entry, add a client, add a vehicle, or add a driver, none of them will time out and erase your data or just erase on their own or anything like that. You can pause mid-entry, respond to an Uber request, take a phone call, go somewhere else, close the app. You can even delete the app and reinstall it. As long as you're logging back in with the same user, it'll still be there. And that's an important feature, especially for us drivers working out in the field and not working in an office. So I'm going to press submit. I'm going to check my driver contacts to see that it worked. And then when I go back to the new driver form, all the information is still there. The only way to clear this form, or any form, is to hit a clear form button at the top and then restore it with the add button that appears in its place. It's one extra click, but you'll never lose progress, and that's by design. After saving the driver, I need to go back to the trip details page and assign it to that driver. I've already talked to this driver on the phone about doing the trip. He's agreed to do it for $95, which means I'll get to make some money on the trip by coordinating it, which is always nice. So I'm going to assign it to him and put 95 right here. Now that I have a driver, I'm going to copy, open the driver's profile, and paste it into a text message and send it to him. And now that driver has all the details that I promised him were coming on the way. No typos, no mix-ups, just accurate info every time. The driver sees the client's name, phone, pickup time, address, vehicle, and his pay. He doesn't see what the client is paying me, he only sees what I'm paying him. And now that the trip has been assigned to that driver, it now also appears under the driver's profile as part of his personal trip log. Just like it does for the client, under the client's personal trip log. Now let's go back to the driver contacts page. Even though I only have one driver added, I want you to make a mental note of a few things. First, this driver contact list is organized by state. You see the word Texas right here. This makes it easy for you to build and maintain a network of drivers nationwide without becoming disorganized. Building connections at other airports across the country is actually one of the key strategies that got me to $85,000 a month. Every drop-off at an airport turned into a pickup at another city with another driver. And that 20% margin on each trip, I didn't mind it at all because I got to keep that money. And my customers loved it because they didn't have to put their credit card on file with a different company every time. In fact, the driver contact is also able to be filtered by any keyword in the contact card. So if I have a bunch of drivers with sprinters and I'm looking for a sprinter, I can just put the word sprinter in the top and it'll filter all of them out who don't have sprinters. And that'll help me zero in on exactly the contacts that I need to contact to get this trip covered. And outsourcing vehicles I don't have is another way that I easily reached $1 million a year with my business. So I would highly recommend being able to do that. Go network, collect as many drivers as you can, keep them categorized by city and state, airports they serve, and the vehicles they drive, so that if your customer ever asks, can you get me a party bus, you can say yes. Now let's look at the last piece of the puzzle here, the quick entry form. Let's say your customer calls for a spontaneous trip and says, hey, pick me up in the stockyards. We need you right now. So you go, and on your way he calls you back and says, oh, by the way, stop at a gas station and pick up a case of beer. We want to have some drinks. So you do. You pick up some beer on your own credit card, and you take them to their destination. And afterwards, you want to document what happened. So you choose quick entry this time. You select the client. You type Stockyards to Cowboys Stadium, wherever they went. You enter the price. You save it. And oops, you forgot to get the reimbursement from the beer that you bought for them with your own credit card. No problem. Add another quick entry. Change the description to beer reimbursement. Set the new price. And save. Now the client has two new records. And if you notice, they're clearly marked with the icons that we added earlier. The calendar for bookings and the check mark for quick entries so that you can visually see your activity. Now, if you go to your upcoming trips, you'll see that quick entries don't show up there since they are trips that fill in the gaps between reservations. Keeping them off your schedule keeps your schedule clear of clutter. If you look closely, though, you can see that all these trips are unpaid. As you collect, open one and change its status. You can filter by unpaid to view just the outstanding balances. And when you start doing 50 or 100 trips a week, this becomes a very, very important feature, especially for corporate clients who might pay 30 days later. In fact, if you're collecting across multiple clients, there's actually a special page for that called All Records. Let's take a look at that. Go to the drop-down menu, select All Records, and this is a page containing all the records for your whole business through all time. Just type unpaid into the search bar and you'll see what's outstanding. And once they pay, go in, update the status, and it's now marked as collected in your records, and it gets filtered out, letting you focus on the remaining unpaid trips. Every trip log can filter into any detail to help you find whatever you're looking for quickly, no matter when it occurred. And that's the system. Make a booking, send it to your client, assign a driver if needed, record payments and payouts as they happen, and you're done. This turns a 5 to 10 minute manual process into 30 seconds, eliminates errors, encourages sending confirmations, keeps you from leaving money on the table through unpaid balances. The system will not only be appreciated by you as you grow, but it will also help you get there. It'll boost your reputation through remarkable presentation and clean professionalism, whether you're doing scheduled service or responding to a spontaneous request. Even in this version 0, this early release, without maps, without auto pricing, without payment processing, this is still an incredibly powerful system that every rideshare driver with a side clientele should be using to nurture and grow that side clientele. Get early access right now. Try it with your own clients for this week or for a month, and I'll be in touch to see if there's anything else I can do to help you succeed.